What else would you want me to say? Okay, I'm not playing it safe here. My life is not just in danger. It's my girlfriend's life, my dog's life, my cat's life, and my family as well at this point. And my brother's gravesite is in jeopardy. I'm in a state of shock. Just how vile and evil people can be. I don't care if you hate me. You can call me a gooner. Hell, call me a pedo, okay? I don't care, okay? Because I know it's not true. Call me that. I don't care. But when you attack someone's family, and deceased family at that, you're no longer, in my personal eyes, even human anymore. How can you even be viewed upon as a human when you could do something just so despicable?
Okay, so as you just seen, Chibi Refused has been going through quite an ordeal as of recently. And honestly, although I am not usually one to follow drama or cover it much on this channel, this is a story that I felt needs a degree of coverage and respect just dedicated to it. Because over the last 72 hours, Chibi has received a record amount of hate for honestly nothing more than a fucking Dan post. That's right, Chibi has had his address leaked, late brother's grave defiled, and life threatened for nothing more than a fucking Twitter post, where he talks about once the scene gets animated, the Twitter community will lose their minds. Quite the fucking harmless post if I'm being honest, especially when you consider just the sheer amount of shit posting that goes on Twitter in general. Now Chibi has also been dealing with a great deal of cybercrime over the last couple of days as well, with countless of his personal accounts being hacked and used to post CP content that they are then using to defile and disrespect the image that he has created in the anime community. They even managed to get their hands on his 10-year-old DeviantArt page, where they then started to post these sick kind of images over and over again, hoping to then use these images to then discredit his image even further. Now keep in mind that these were the same individuals making claims that he himself was a predator and had his own selection of images of CP content. But as it's clearly seen over the last 72 hours, they are in fact the ones that have been posting this CP content on all of his pages. So what does that tell you? Well, I'm not one to say it out loud, but it's saying a lot to me. Now at the time of this recording, it does appear that he has got access to this account back, as there is no sign of any sort of CP content being posted anywhere on it. Just several hate comments being posted on his profile comment section. Now Chibi himself has also posted 2 videos explaining everything going on with him, the doxing, the lawsuit that he has filed against him, and even the death threats that he is still to this day continuously getting. With the first video being used as a paper trail / timestamp for everything revolving around the case in general.
This video is being used as a paper trail for I can show to my lawyer, also the court system, because I am going to be filing a lawsuit against the individuals that are responsible for doxing my private information. Now, as you can see on screen, I already have a few people that, is not necessarily going to be potentially in this lawsuit, but I do want to showcase the actions of what I've been going through throughout this entire ordeal in the last 48 hours or so, ever since the first episode of Dawn to Dawn came out, and I uploaded my video on it this past Wednesday. So as you can see here, this is one individual partaking in the mockery of my brother's death. We have an individual that is hoping that I basically get my brain stem stomped in and my corpse is spit on. They went on to have a lot of likes. The post is still up, by the way, not been terminated or violated any Twitter rules or anything like that. We have people making false thumbnail images of me, trying to slander me, saying I made content like this, and then trying to say, yeah, I made a video on this, when in reality, I did not. Then we have a post like this, where someone put a petition out to stone me to death.
Now, of course, he thought this would be the end of it after he declared that he will be doing a lawsuit. You'd assume the retards responsible would just shut up and, keep quiet so as not to discredit themselves even further. But as such, they have continued. So he has since made the second video where he explains that he is at his wit's end with everything that is going on, and at this point in time that he is just more scared for the lives around him than he is even about his own life.
What else would you want me to say? Okay, I'm not playing it safe here. My life is not just in danger. It's my girlfriend's life, my dog's life, my cat's life, and my family as well at this point. And my brother's gravesite is in jeopardy.
Now, as the ones responsible for all of these threats, he explains himself that it is just members of the Boruto community, which if you've been around for quite a while, then you will know they are some of the most extremist kind of fans out there. They are well known for sending incredible hate, defamation, death threats, you name it, they've pretty much sent it to pretty much everybody who's ever mentioned their shitty series in a bad light. Which, as something that just shouldn't need to be said but evidently does, this is just incredibly pathetic and honestly just highlights the major insecurity around the fans of that shitty series. Now, as for the threats on Chibi's life themselves, they range from everything between bitch-made comments about wanting to stomp on his brainstem to just little losers asking to stone him to death. Just absolutely pathetic losers who just honestly should have been shot into their own mother's leg instead of implanted inside of her many years ago. Now, as I'm sure many of you know, I am incredibly biased when it comes to anything I choose to make a video on this channel. Because realistically, I just couldn't give a fuck about anyone else's opinion but my own. And it's honestly something I think all of you should have. You should never consider anybody else's opinion over your own. That's just a simple fact of the matter. Now, I'm also somebody who's been watching Chibi for the last several years and honestly somebody who considers him an inspiration for content creation. Because he's been doing this whole YouTube thing for the last 10 plus years and is somebody who's been uploading daily videos for the last 2 years straight. Which if you're somebody who's ever tried to do that, you'd understand it's incredibly hard to do. The guy's just a content creating machine, and honestly deserves respect for it. And that's not even mentioning the fact that he's just got solid taste for anime and manga in general. And I've even gone so far as to take some of his recommendations over the years. Now, I've always considered Chibi just a solid guy, who evidently cares a lot about his community and his family, and has never, in the last several years that I've watched him, ever made content that ever came across as anything more than just a major fan talking about the series he loves. He's never really been one to send hate in any which direction. Just somebody who has received a fair amount of it over the last few years. Plus, and this should also just be considered the most important fact of all, he is somebody who reads One Piece. Which, as we all know, if you read or watch One Piece, then you're just quite the solid dude. It's a simple fact of the matter. Nobody's discrediting that. Now, honestly, Chibi is just somebody who, in my opinion, has always been up there as somebody who I'd love to work with in the future. And if the opportunity ever did arise, I would jump at it. But as far as any of this hate is concerned, it's entirely unwarranted and just something he and his family shouldn't have to deal with in any way. So just as a message to Chibi himself, remember, you have the full support of every sane-minded individual on this shitty internet. And as somebody who has watched your content for a while, I just want to say that without a shadow of a doubt, you've got one of the most die-hard communities out there. So don't skip over all the love that I'm sure you're getting in the comment section just to find that one gimp hater that is way in the bottom. Like, it just ain't worth your sanity. The guy's a fucking gimp if he's posting hate on Twitter, for God's sake. Now with that said, I'll have Chibi's channel linked in the description down below, so send any love that you can his way. Because the poor guy and his family is really going through it at the moment, and I just don't think he should have to deal with any of that bullshit. But now if we did learn anything from today's situation, it's that if you ever think about posting hate on somebody, please first consider the fact that you yourself might actually be the loser in that current situation. But now with all of that said, please stay safe everyone, and have a nice day. Peace.